Hi guys, this is Gma J again in my kitchen. We're going to be making polpetta today, which is meatballs in a tomato sauce. When we finish, you can use the sauce to have pasta and meatballs, spaghetti and meatballs, yum. But I'm going to keep the sauce and next week I'll make a eggplant parmigiana. So let's get on with the meatballs. The first thing you have to do is to brown a piece of garlic in the oil. As you can see, I've got a little bit of olive oil and just 1 clove of garlic. I need the oil to be hot so that I can add the tomatoes and it gives a real sizzle as we put it in. So while that's heating up, I'm just going to show you, I like to use the whole Roma tomatoes. Any brand you like, use whichever tomatoes you like, but they're my favourites. But what I'm going to do is, you can see they're quite thick and chunky, so I'm just going to give them a bit of a blend with my stick blender. Not much. There we go, that's it. I just don't like chunky bits of tomato in my sauce. So we're just waiting for the oil to get hot. So once it is, we'll add the tomatoes, and then as you can see, we've got the mince all ready to make the meatballs. So it won't be long, the oven's just going to warm up, and then we're ready in just a minute. As you can see, my oil is quite hot and my garlic is starting to brown, but I'm going to remove the clove of garlic and I'm going to add the tomatoes. Just gives it a little bit extra flavour and gets your oil hot. This is what we're looking for. We want that sizzle, the tomatoes, scrape it in, and we turn the heat down. Now, this will cook for about 15 minutes while I prepare the mince sauce, but I just want to get it a nice little starting to simmer because I don't want it too boiling for when I do the meatballs. So we'll just leave that there and we'll come over and I'll show you how I mix my meatballs. Okay. This is 500 grams of mince, nice lean mince, but you use whatever you like. In the mince, I'm going to add about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic chopped. Nice, I actually minced them. A nice handful of fresh parsley out of the garden. The parsley gives it a really nice flavour. This is my Parmigiano and my Romano cheese mixed together. It's a good chunk. Put that in, that gives it a lot of flavour. We're going to add 1 egg. A bit of breadcrumbs, that just helps to keep the meatballs together, but we don't want too much in there. So a couple of good sprinkles. We're going to add some pepper. I like quite a bit of pepper in it. Nice pinch of salt. As you can see, I have a nice pinch of salt there. Pop it in, and then we're going to mix it all together. We're going to roll the meatballs. As you can see, my sauce is bubbling, which is exactly what we're looking for, is a nice bubble. That will help the meatballs stay together by having a nice hot bubbling sauce, simmering sauce. So let's mix these meatballs, give them a good mix with your hand. Mix it in well, scooping everything from the bottom. Just mix and mix and mix until it's a everything's nicely through the mince. You can add a little bit of extra salt to your sauce. If you don't like too much salt, then you don't have to, but I like the flavour that a little bit of salt gives to the sauce when you're actually making it. So as you can see, that's all really well mixed in there. Lots of parsley. It's going to give it a really nice flavour. I'm going to take a handful, if I can pick it up, and I'm going to roll a meatball. You can make them smaller if you like, but we're actually going to eat these meatballs tonight with some vegetables and some salad. But if I was making it with spaghetti, I'd actually make the meatballs a bit smaller. So then the meatballs go into the simmering sauce. Just pop them in there. continue making. I have 2 tins of Roma tomatoes in there. You can use more, you can use less. Nice meatball. Pasta gets stuck to your hands, but that's okay, it washes off. So I'll give it a nice roll, make sure it's together. Nice handful of meatball. Give it a good mix. And just put them in. This makes a good quantity of meatballs. If your kids love meatballs and spaghetti, this is the one to do. Good mix. Mix, mix, mix.
Hang on.
Okay, this is my last meatball going into the sauce. What I'll do is I'll just give it a stir. So all my meatballs, as you can see, are sitting in the sauce. Now I'm going to let that simmer, controlling the temperature as it cools down just that little bit, just to a simmer, and that will probably cook for about at least an hour, just on very low. So we'll just keep that simmering, stirring it occasionally, be gentle because you don't want to break up the meatballs. Hi guys, welcome back. As you can see, my pasta sauce is ready. It's nice and thick with the meatballs are well cooked. Now the last thing I do, just a few minutes before it's ready, is I'm going to pick some nice fresh basil leaves out of my little trusty pot here. I'm going to hand break them up. I'm not going to cut them with a knife. And I'm just going to pop them into the sauce and just let that cook for a minute while I serve out the vegetables that I have roasted for dinner. So we have added to the oven. I'll just remove the vegetables from the oven. As you can see, I've got potato, pumpkin, carrot, capsicum, sweet potato. I baked it all up. I've cooked it with an extra virgin olive oil, and I've just let them bake into the oven. I'm going to serve it up. A little bit of veg, a little bit of everything. There we go. I'm going to take my meatball out of the sauce. One, two. Show you the inside of the meatball. Perfectly cooked. There you go. Very healthy dinner. Polpetta in sauce. Remember, the sauce, you can use it for pasta if you want to have spaghetti with meatballs. But I'm going to keep the sauce, and next week I'll be uploading my eggplant parmigiano using the sauce that I've made today. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Ciao!